Let me start with a simple picture. Imagine two versions of you. One of them has big dreams, big ideas, big motivation, but very little consistency. They start many things. They rarely finish. The other version is not always excited, not always inspired, not always confident. But they show up. Again and again. On good days and on boring days. 10 years from now, which version has built more? Most of the time, it is not the louder, more inspired version. It is the quieter, more disciplined one. In this audio, we are going to talk about daily discipline. Not as punishment, not as a military lifestyle, but as a quiet superpower you can use to change your life slowly and deeply. We will explore why discipline matters more than motivation. Why consistency is so hard in the real world, and how you can build daily discipline without becoming a robot or losing your humanity. Let us begin with an uncomfortable truth. Your life today is a collection of your habits from the past, the way your body feels, the state of your finances, your level of English, your relationships, your career. They are not the result of one giant decision. They are the result of many small decisions, repeated over time. What you eat most days, how you use your free time, whether you study or not, whether you save or spend, whether you talk honestly or avoid difficult conversations. Daily discipline is the engine behind these small decisions. It is the force that says, I will do what is important, even when it is not urgent, even when I do not feel like it. Motivation says, I feel excited right now. Discipline says, I will show up even when I am tired. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the fire that stays. The problem is, many people wait for motivation to start. They say, when I feel ready, I will begin. After this busy period, I will get serious. Next month, I will be more disciplined. But motivation is like the weather. It changes, it comes and goes. If you build your life on motivation, your habits will always be unstable. Discipline is different. Discipline is a decision you repeat. It is a promise you make to yourself. It is a system, not a feeling. Let us look at some areas where daily discipline can transform your life. Studying, health, money, projects, and skills. We will talk about each one, not in theory, but in daily reality. First, studying. Maybe you want to improve your English. Maybe you want to learn programming, design, marketing, or something completely different. Most people imagine studying like this. Big blocks of time, perfect focus, perfect environment, no distractions. But life is not like a movie. You have work, you have family, you have problems. You have days when your energy is low. If you wait for perfect conditions to study, you will not study. Daily discipline with studying looks different. It looks like this. You decide that every day you will give at least a small amount of attention to your learning. Maybe 15 minutes, maybe 20, maybe 30. You do not wait for a free day. You do not wait for inspiration. You create a non-negotiable minimum. Some days you will do more. Great. Other days you will do only your minimum. That is also great, because the secret of daily discipline is not intensity. It is continuity. If you study English deeply one day and then disappear for 2 weeks, your brain does not build strong connections. But if you touch the language every day, even briefly, your mind starts to treat English as part of your normal life, not a special event. Consistency changes your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who wants to learn English someday. You start seeing yourself as someone who learns English every day. That identity makes the habit easier to maintain. Now let us talk about health. Daily discipline in health is not about extreme diets or perfect exercise routines. It is about small choices repeated. You drink water instead of only sugary drinks. You walk a little more. You sleep a little earlier. You prepare one simple, healthier meal at home. You stretch for 5 minutes. None of these actions is dramatic, but over months and years, they compound. Daily discipline is like gravity. Quiet, invisible, but always working. When you do not have discipline, there is also gravity, but in the opposite direction. It pulls you toward the couch, toward scrolling your phone for hours, toward the easiest food, the easiest entertainment, the easiest option. Your body and mind follow what you repeat, not what you intend. Now let us talk about money. Discipline with money is not about never enjoying life. It is about being consistent with the basics, paying attention to your expenses, saving a small percentage regularly, avoiding new toxic debt, making conscious decisions instead of automatic impulses. A single day of being good with money does almost nothing. 30 days of small, disciplined decisions start to change your situation. 365 days can change your life. Discipline is time plus direction. Now, projects and skills. Maybe you want to write a book. Maybe you want to start a YouTube channel. Maybe you want to build a side business. Maybe you want to become very good at a specific skill. These things are not built in one weekend. They are built in invisible, boring moments. One page written today. One video script drafted. One product improved. One client contacted. 1 hour of practice. Daily discipline for projects is simply this. You move the project forward a tiny bit, almost every day, no matter how busy you are. It might be 5 minutes. It might be an email. It might be brainstorming ideas. The key is to never let the project stay untouched for long periods, because when you stop touching it, it slowly dies. Now, if daily discipline is so powerful, why is it so hard? There are many reasons. Let us talk about 3. Your brain, your environment, your expectations. First, your brain. Your brain does not love effort. It loves comfort. It loves instant reward. When you choose to study instead of watching a video. When you choose to exercise instead of staying in bed. When you choose to cook instead of ordering fast food. You are asking your brain to accept effort now for a reward in the future. The reward is not immediate. There is no instant pleasure. So your brain protests. It says, do it tomorrow. It is not that important. You are tired. You deserve a break. This voice is not evil. It is just old programming. To build daily discipline, you need to accept that this voice will continue to exist. You are not trying to silence it completely. You are learning to hear it and act according to your values, not according to your impulses. You can say to yourself, yes, I am tired. Yes, it would be easier to do nothing, but I will still do something small today because my future matters. Second, your environment. Your environment often makes discipline harder than it needs to be. If your phone is always in your hand, always alive with notifications, your attention is constantly under attack. If your kitchen is full of junk food, every moment is a small battle. If your desk is chaotic, starting work feels like climbing a mountain. Daily discipline becomes easier when you design your environment with intention. You put your phone in another room when you study. You remove some apps that steal your time. You prepare your study materials in advance. You keep healthier options visible and easier to reach. You make the good choice the easiest choice. Discipline is not only about strong will, it is also about intelligent design. Third, your expectations. Many people destroy their discipline with unrealistic expectations. They say, from now on, I will wake up at 5, exercise for an hour, study for 2 hours, read every day, stop sugar, and meditate. They try to change everything at once. For a few days they succeed, then they crash. The schedule is not sustainable. Life happens. They miss one day, then 2, then a week. They feel like failures. They say, I have no discipline. The problem was never their character. It was their plan. Daily discipline is built slowly. You start with 1 or 2 key habits. You make them small and realistic. You protect them. Then, when they become stable, you may add more. Think of discipline like building a house. You do not try to build all the walls, the roof, and the interior at the same time. You start with the foundation. Now let us bring this closer to you. Think about one area of your life where you really want more consistency. Maybe your English, maybe your health, maybe your finances, maybe a creative project. Choose one in your mind. Now ask yourself, what is the smallest daily action, so small that I almost feel silly doing it, but that would keep this area alive? For English, it might be 5 minutes of listening and repeating. For health, it might be 10 minutes of walking. For money, it might be writing down what you spent today. For a project, it might be opening the document and adding 3 lines. Daily discipline is not glamorous. Many days, it looks like almost nothing. But imagine a tree. When it is small, it does not look impressive. You water it, you give it sun, you protect it. You do not see big changes from one day to the next. But after years of consistency, you have shade, you have fruit. The people who quit after 1 week say, this is useless. The people who stay say, I am glad I started when it was small. There is another enemy of discipline we need to talk about. All or nothing thinking. This is the idea that if you cannot do something perfectly, then it is not worth doing at all. I plan to study for 1 hour, but I only have 15 minutes, so I will skip. I broke my diet at lunch, so the whole day is ruined. I missed 2 days of practice, so this week is destroyed. All or nothing thinking kills consistency. Daily discipline is not all or nothing. It is something, again and again. If you cannot do 1 hour, do 10 minutes. If you cannot walk 5 kilometers, walk around the block. If you missed 2 days, come back on day 3 without drama. Every time you restart, you strengthen a very important message inside you. I may fall, but I return. That message is the heart of discipline, not perfection. Persistence. Now, because this channel is also about English, let us connect daily discipline directly to your English journey. Maybe you feel frustrated. You've studied for years. You know grammar. You recognize many words. But when you speak, you get stuck. When you listen, you miss a lot. You feel like you are always at the same level. Often, the problem is not intelligence. The problem is inconsistency. Many learners study in waves. They study a lot for a short period. Then they disappear for weeks or months. Then they start again. Each time they return, they have to rebuild what they lost. Daily discipline with English would look like this. You choose a realistic daily plan. For example, 10 minutes of listening, 10 minutes of speaking or shadowing, 10 minutes of reading or vocabulary. Some days you do more. Some days you only do the minimum. But you touch the language every day. Over time, your brain starts to trust that English is not a temporary project. It is part of your identity. You go from, I study English sometimes, to, I am a person who lives a little in English every day. This change of identity is what makes discipline easier. You are no longer negotiating every day. You do not wake up and ask, do I feel like studying today? You say, studying is part of who I am now. I just need to decide when. Now I want to address one more important point. Daily discipline does not mean daily self-violence. Some people use discipline as an excuse to ignore their body and their mind. They never rest. They never listen to their limits. They push until they break. That is not wise discipline. That is self-sabotage with a mask of productivity. Real discipline includes rest as a conscious choice, not as an escape. You decide when to pause. You decide when to sleep a little more. You decide when to take a full break and come back stronger. Discipline is not the enemy of kindness. You can be firm and gentle at the same time. You can say, I am tired today, so I will do a very small version of my habit, and then I will rest. This is very different from, I am tired, so I will abandon everything and feel guilty. Before we close, let us imagine something. Imagine your life 1 year from now. Nothing dramatic happens. You do not win the lottery. You do not become famous. You do not discover a secret shortcut. But every day you do 3 small disciplined actions. You study a little. You move your body a little. You take 1 small step toward a personal goal. Some days you do them with energy. Other days you do them with resistance. But you do them. What changes? Your skills grow. Your body feels a bit better. Your mind becomes more organized. You trust yourself more because you have evidence. Evidence that when you say, I will show up, you actually show up. Self-trust is one of the greatest gifts of daily discipline. When you do not trust yourself, every goal feels like a lie. You say, I will change. But another voice inside you whispers, we have heard this before. When you build a history of small, consistent actions, that inner voice changes. It starts to say, yes, we have heard this before, and this time we are actually doing it. To finish, I want to invite you to a tiny experiment. Not a huge plan, not a new life philosophy, just a 7-day experiment in daily discipline. Think of one area you want to focus on first. Maybe English, maybe health, maybe money, maybe a project. Then choose one simple daily action. Something you can do even on your worst day. Write it down. I will listen to English for 10 minutes every day. I will walk for 10 minutes every day. I will write down my expenses every day. I will work on my project for 10 minutes every day. 7 days. No perfection, no heroism, just presence. At the end of the 7 days, ask yourself, how do I feel knowing that I kept my word to myself, even in a small way? That feeling is the beginning of a different relationship with yourself. Daily discipline is not about controlling every detail of your life. It is about directing your energy day after day toward the person you want to become. Quietly, patiently, consistently. Be consistent with the small things that matter. Your future self is already waiting to thank you. See you in the next video.